All right, live drum practice. We're jumping in American Girl. We've just been working on tempo the past couple days, and tempo and endurance. Tempo, endurance, and sight reading. All of those things kind of like coalesce into everything that I'm working on. So, American Girl, great drum part by Stan Lynch. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers is the artist. Yeah, jump in, do 70, and kind of use this to warm up a little bit. 60, I feel like I've done pretty good with. When I get to like 80, 85, I start getting a little sloppy. So things I need to watch out for. We'll just warm up on the beat at 70 and try to do some whole sections. 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2 E and 3. Keep playing that idea for a while, that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and kind of messes with your head where the metronome is, right? Because we're not used to playing a snare on like almost like a cut time fill, I guess that'd be called. So you get that with that kick drum going. It's interesting when you really analyze it with the metronome. You just kind of sit there and play it over and over again. All right, 70 sounded pretty tight. Good, happy with that. Actually, let's speed it up. We might as well just start doing the whole verse loop. You know, some of it's just me paying attention while I'm practicing, you know, what I'm actually working on. We'll go faster than 70. We'll do 74. But just noticing the slight changes. Now, when I'm teaching this to a student, I go, hey, it changes. You don't need to play it note for note if you're playing in a live situation, or even if you're presenting. Like, if I have a kid work through a section for me, I'll be like, hey, just play the section. If you add a kick drum here or a hi-hat there, I don't really care that much. Do you think Stan Lynch, when they was performing with the Heartbreakers, he made sure every note was 100% how he recorded? No. Here's the idea of it. And the difference is, if I'm doing a video like this, I'm practicing it from the sheet music. John wrote this out for our website, musicbythemeasurespro.com. I want to play it as close as I can. I mean, I want to do a track where I'm playing exactly what he plays on the album. So those two different worlds that you can choose to live in. Actually, I want to do this differently today. Let's take that 74 and actually have a measure to click in all the time. I've noticed sometimes like I'm a little sloppy coming in on a kick in, so just, count in. You know, the more that you can just play more exact, gives me a little time to recoup from the sheet music as well. 1 and a 2 E and 3. Again, I was doing a pretty good job paying attention. Just choose how you guys want to practice, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with zoning in on 4 measures and just really owning that. There's nothing wrong with doing this longer thing. This longer thing, see, like if I come in fresh with this, I usually do a little bit better. I get distracted. I miss the. Actually, I was kind of probably congratulating myself, going like, I'm playing pretty good right now. Like, decently tight. Every once in a while, rushing that. I think the hi hat on 2. I like to rush, especially when I get into this beat. I don't hear that 1 into 2, 1 into 2. I go 1 into 2. Like the 2's a question mark. That's how it should sound. That's rushed. That's one of the things that, even though it's beating your head against the wall, playing with that metronome over and over again gets you to the place where you're like, oh, I hear where I'm loose, I hear where I'm tight. Let's just keep pushing this up faster. Kind of not going to aim for, okay, let me say this differently. I want to play exact, I want to play tight. I'm not going to beat myself up right now. I kind of actually want to see if I can push to 80, 86 again, come back to 70 and just play 70 smooth. Like if I can push higher tempos and then regain focus on a lower tempo. Basically, I have to gamify. If I'm gamifying my practice, I'm going to stay more engaged longer. See, I did the same mistake. We'll catch it next time. Oh, I don't know that song, Tyler. Tyler Shut Music goes, can I play over? Dude, I am so bad with words. I have phonetic dyslexia as my excuse, but Kiowa, because I'm from actually Iowa. We're based in Michigan here, but Kiowa, by Portraits. Bro, I'll look into it. I'm not doing requests right now, but when John, who writes all of our sheet music for our website, gets caught up, I will add that to the list, my guy. Love to do breakdowns, love to do requests. We're getting up to the part where we're getting busy enough where we can do requests, because every piece of sheet music takes John 4 or 5 hours to write, and I have students that I teach and work with weekly. So those are always the priority, but it is on the list. That's a very long answer. All right, so some sloppiness in there, but let's speed it up just a little bit. We're gonna be okay with the slop. Today's gonna be a short session. I only have like 30 minutes left, and then I actually have to go run to teach. So, but I was like, I gotta get a practice in because the days I miss, it takes me longer to catch up the next day. Even if I have a sloppy recording or a sloppy practice, as long as I end up sitting here doing this, 40 minutes is my bare minimum. If I have to squeeze in 35, I'll squeeze in 35. I like to run about an hour 5 minutes in, because it's just always getting inundated with those concepts. It's the most important thing to do. Gotta heard my 16th note start to drift like I like to do, especially at faster tempos, right? I'm compensating for not having the skill set, so I get sloppy. Like that. Little sloppy. We're going to go one tempo faster. What I'm noticing though, and this is, I'm trying to coach the way that I would practice. It's not the same way I teach lessons, but I just wish every once in a while I want to shake a student, young or old, just be like, dude, figure out how your brain works, figure out how you want to practice, and then do that. So day one, like when I was trying to do these loops, I struggled. I struggled holding that idea in my head and these changing ideas and having to sight read. So guess what? Now we're 3 lives in of kind of this longer sight reading idea going on, and I'm improving at it. Now it's not improving, leaps and bounds every time, but it's improving. And so like the best thing you guys can do is like go back to Drum Live number 1. I was atrocious. I'm still not great. I have a lot to work on, but it just kind of shutting your brain off and just showing up and doing it, and learning. I guess, I don't know. I almost wanted to say going through the motions, but I think that's such a lie. Because if you go through the motions, I think you're unobservant. You want to be present. You want to be like, all right, what's my leg doing? Is it doing good things? What's my hand doing? Do I feel relaxed? Am I, It's processing as you go. Going through the motions, I mean, shut your brain off and just coast. And that's not, you're going to get there. It's just going to take you longer. Another thing, and I'm just going to ramble as I play and practice, give myself a little bit of break from practicing. The reason I'm okay practicing the same idea over and over again, I had to force myself to get clean up. I was playing my 16th notes, one and right, this swung but poorly. It's not how the song goes. It's one and a 2 E and one and a. Just the huge difference of tightness that it has to be versus how I can end up playing. And you wanna establish that at a low tempo with your muscle memory. Get this idea down. Do that until you don't have to do that anymore. And I say that, but I'll spend 15 minutes on it and be like, all right, we gotta go faster. Speaking of it, we gotta go faster. This might be I don't know. Well, I like try to qualify, hey, what am I working on? Well, today, I'm playing pretty fast. It's mildly comfortable, so let's just push tempo a little bit more. I'm sight reading pretty well. Other times I'll be like, I'm playing like crap. I'm going to keep everything slow. I'm going to really work on just getting that timing more exact. Same idea. If every single day I sit down and practice, I get my timing more exact, more on beat, next song's easier to play. Next idea is easier to play. And then I don't play in time. You hear me pretty shaky on the metronome. We're gonna do one more of this. Try to jump back in. And be okay with crap. So we're going to keep pushing tempo up. Know that I know, and this might be an ego thing that I have to work through. I know that wasn't exact in time. And it was almost the same one every time. So I started experimenting. And a lot of it is just if I can sit there and focus on that 16th note. If I put my mental energy in just one and then your mental energy drifts. All right. So, yeah, I think 90 is the fastest I've been on this in a while. So it pays off to spend time working on stuff slow. I think I've done a couple at 1:15. This was maybe 3 or 4 months back, and then I got busy on other stuff and just didn't finish the idea of the song and thought, it's good to come back, good to finish shit. Missed that change. 2, 3, 4. Gotta tighten this back up. 2, 3, 4. So it's getting to the point where like I'm struggling more, right? But we're gonna keep going faster because I feel like stuff is getting unlocked. And that's again, you gotta feel like you gotta practice enough that you can kind of sense like, all right, this is how I'm feeling right now. This is where I'm at right now. I'm sight reading pretty good, you know. And then pick your battle on that. Like, okay, what do I want to focus on in my practice today? Speed today. Speed runs, we'll call it. So here my timing's struggling. But we're going to go one faster. Because again, my timing's struggling, but that will get resolved as we continue to just work this over and over again. 115 is full speed, so we're like, I don't know, getting close to that. If you're going to work on speed, be okay with being sloppy. I even say this to students. It's something I would never have said this 10 years ago in my own practice or to a student. I'd be like, be okay with being sloppy. You're going to push this mechanism, this idea of playing faster. You're not going to be good at it. You will struggle. Then we're going to go back down to 70. And 70, we're going to own. Yesterday, we owned 60. I think we might have tried to own 70, but we more borrowed and had to give it back. And then the next day, you'll own 80. The next day, you'll own 90. And eventually, you'll own 115. And then you'll be playing the song. And then you'll take those concepts, those ideas, and move it to the next song. And rinse and repeat. Sometimes even when I break that down for students, I'm like, dude, your job is to fire me within 3 to 5 months. If you're motivated, you should be learning these beats, learning these ideas, learning these techniques, and then go off and run. Play in the jungle, do these things over and over again, and eventually you get to the place where it's like, I understand this concept, I understand this concept, I understand these concepts. And then eventually you have to like graduate to a master drummer, which I am not. I am a beginner drummer. My timing has gone away, and I'm gonna embrace playing like shit right now, just to prove a point to myself and to you guys. it was funny. Some mistakes come out that wouldn't come out at slower tempos, and that's fine. Like, do them and understand. Like, I kind of laughed as I was playing. You might have noticed. I was, Mr. Kick Drum, I didn't do you in the right spot. I did you wrong. All right, we're just gonna see where we top out at today, and that might just be our practice. I got like 10 minutes left before I have to go teach, and it might be a good enough idea where we like pushed our tempos more than anything else. So what we accomplished today is faster tempos. Tomorrow we'll come back down and slow this, like I said. Ideally I'd set my loop, but also like, just always tackling something new, and that keeps it more interesting and fresh. If I would stay at these slower tempos forever, I'm right now past slower tempos for myself in this song. Like, I still need to own them, master them, be able to do 4 or 16 bars at once. That sometimes is a challenge via my focus. But I feel good about them, especially pushing this. And then I'll be getting that 70 exact, that 80 exact, that 90 exact. And as I go through each of those, every day it gets easier. All right, 106. A lot of mistakes. Even more mistakes. I love the fact that the metronome pushes your concentration, right? It forces you to think differently. I have to think faster. I have to do this. I have to sight read. It's going to cause you to screw up, but you need that. You need to push it. All right, we're going to do 110. We'll see if we get past 110. I can only endure. Sometimes in my practices, I can't even endure the sloppiness. Like for me, I get frustrated and I'm like, oh, I can't push through. Sometimes it's easy to fight that battle of like, hey, you got to sound sloppy for a bit. You got to sound like shit to get through that. Like that. You got to be sloppy. 2, 3, 4. I've been missing that crash. All right. Let's go full speed. Full speed's 115. I've seen other people notate it at 114. He varies his tempo a little bit. I don't know if they played this to a click or not, or if they did and he got a little rambunctious. There's an old story that I love about Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I think it was the first producer, Jimmy Iovine. I think he did the first 2 albums with him. And I love this because it's the same thing with the Beatles Hamburger. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Like that's under pressure practice and you just get good. If you don't know the Beatles Hamburg story, Germany. They were a cover band. They were playing 6 hours a night is my understanding, and a lot of uppers and downers, and practice for like 4, or not practice, they'd record. Don't even remember my own story. They would play under pressure. Jimmy Iovine, and I think it's Iovine, he didn't think they had a song recorded well until everyone played it and they had a vocal track well. Well, what that meant is like if somebody screwed up, they'd start all over again. And so think about you recording your songs and you record it 50 times for 4 weeks or some ridiculous amount like that. you'd get really stinking good. That's that under pressure. That, hey, I'm always playing with the metronome. We're always playing in a band situation. We're always sweating. Playing live causes that anxiety and whatnot as well. But like, you're recording, you're under pressure. If you screw up, we have to start all over again. And that was his attitude. And that's in my mind, a really great attitude. Where today, like, we could just and I do this. I'll comp in and fix that recording. It's not a live band situation. It's not that feeling and emotion that we used to have. But anyway, that doing it over and over again got him to be good. So same idea here, just a different ball game. So full speed, we'll see if I fall apart. Missed the change, or I did the change when it reverted back. But overall, not bad. Like, I played it at 115. That feels good. So, this is what happens. This is you guys watching technique be developed. My foot started moving in a different way just because of how much time I've spent just really trying to get this beat down, really trying to get these 16th notes down. Not that. I can't play now. Because I'm not playing. 1, 8. I've worked a shit ton on that. I do these lives. It's like the 5 millionth live it feels on this song alone. But it's doing it over and over again. And all of a sudden, like, the connections all just fucking hit at once. And you're like, my foot was actually moving faster, but with control than I was used to, and it started playing by itself. All right, so 115 happened. That's awesome. Now, and that's not impressive. Like, I'm a level 2 out of 10 drummer. So for me, this is impressive, right? Like, if you're a good drummer, then you don't need this shit. This is for people who've never played before. Or just didn't take it serious. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go up by 2s. We'll see how fast we get. Like I said, I got like 4 minutes left of this. So we're going to do a couple at 117 and just fall apart and be okay with falling apart and try to like pick up the bicycle and get back to riding and just repeat that a couple times, and that'll be kind of how we end this session. And then tomorrow I'm going to pick it up the same spot. I'll probably actually start over again at 70. And then the next time I do 70, I'm going to get to 80 quicker. I'm going to get to 90 quicker. And the sight reading will get better, and the section understanding will get better. And then eventually, in 7 years, we'll do a whole song. Set of sections. See me fall apart at these faster tempos, which is the idea. So it's funny. Nick and I will chat through this a lot. We work together at Music by the Measures, and when you start developing new techniques and it actually starts getting implemented, it fucks you up. It screws you up that your leg just did exactly what you've been training it to do. Where you're just like, again, I did this really nice heel toe or toe heel. I'm still confused on that. I don't know all the terminology. Do I teach? Yeah, I teach. Do you need to know everything? Nah, you don't. You just got to teach. All right, let's go 2 BPM faster, then I'm going to wrap it up. So 119. 117 sounded good, like I said. Some mistakes, some sight reading errors that wouldn't happen at 70, 80, 90 because I got comfortable, right? You can't live in that comfortability forever. Now tomorrow when I hit this at 115, it's going to seem slow. That's the idea, especially in the first like 20 songs you try to learn exactly. embrace the suck, because that's where we're at right now at this tempo. But some good things. And all of a sudden I can't control that. All right, good session. Sometimes, like I said, I don't get enough time, but like even to jump in and do 35 minutes of practice and like very, very structured. The lives help me do a structured practice. Otherwise, I can go off on my own. I'll be like, oh, that's a fun song to play too. What I always ask of myself and students is like, dude, find 45 minutes of structured practice. If you're not a person that can hold 45 minutes, find 15 minutes of structured practice and then have fun. If you can do structured practice twice a day, you're going to get farther. All right, guys, thanks for checking it out. Become a member at musicbythemeasurespro.com. We have sheet music resources for all levels. So check it out. Thank you, and have a good rest of your set.